Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Feldy, Farming Simulator 11, created by Farmer Yip. As you can kind of see over here, we are down here by our silage clamps at the BGA. You can see that they are all empty. I have taken all the material out off cam. Actually, I'm kind of curious here too to see, will this now tell me how much? Aha, there we go. $2.99, $8.90. You know, that's a fair bit of slurry. Yeah, that's something else I maybe can do once I got the fields open right now that I could get going on that really any time that I wished to try to use that up and save some money on fertilizer. But for the moment, as you can see, we finished that, and we have almost finished harvesting our sugar beets. I have several piles. I think I showed this on a previous episode, making a pile. It's a pretty cool addition that Farmer Yip put into the map, kind of a tip anywhere type mod. Basically, it's a type of vehicle, and the vehicle static sits in the field, has a trigger on it, and when you run through the trigger with a trailer, it lets you dump into it. And the real trick is going to be this particular episode to see if we're able to get material out of it. But for the moment, I want to finish our harvest. We're just on the heels of a hailstorm, and it just quit not that long ago in game. So we're gonna finish up our harvest here. So let me get it going. Let me get my guys out. Yeah, I think it's working. So we'll just kind of come through here. Shouldn't even take all that much to finish. And you know, I gotta say, I don't know what the total harvest has been on this field, or the combined fields. You know, one of the things I was trying to see if if the harvest we pull off out of here is the same as, using that other harvester. I think it's simpler, but I really don't know for sure. I mean, I would really have to take some detailed records, and of course I never took those records using the original harvester, so I'm just kind of winging it. Alright, so I also wanted to show something else that I made. It's my understanding, I get my help menu, that these particular piles only hold 40,000 liters. And what I was noticing is that, because previously, as you can see, I have it now up here in the help menu, and that's an addition I made to the mod. Previously, there was no way to tell, and I was kind of keeping a record on a piece of paper outside of the game. And each trailer load, as you can see, is 5,000 liters. But I figured it would be helpful to have it on there just so you could tell, what's in there, and you would know when it was time to quit. Because here, let me hop out of the tractor here real quick. I also set it up so the player can walk on foot and you get the same information. But the reason it's important to know, because there was an error I was noticing where if it happened to be over, or happened to be at 40,000, it would still let you dump into it, but it wouldn't record any additional product, which was pretty frustrating. And so I think I found an error in the script. Don't know that I even want to test it, because now I'm trying to just watch how many liters that I have. But now it only lets you dump into it up to the capacity, and if it's over, it puts whatever was left back into your trailer, so you don't lose anything. Now, I seem to recall, I don't want to just create another pile, I seem to recall I had one down in this other parcel that wasn't filled up the whole way. So, yes, if I drive through this one, how nice you can drive right on through them. I think this one here doesn't have as much material. Yeah, boy, it's got an obtuse amount. Anyway, I'm in the trigger, so we'll add to this one. I'm happy to see it update quick. Yeah, it's got kind of a wild decimal point. Okay, so we have just a little bit more to go, and I'll put it in that other pile. With the other harvester, of course, you know, we would fill the harvester, and then we would offload it into a trailer. Here we have these fellas who are just kind of pitching it in as we walk. They walk alongside. It kind of you kind of have to suspend disbelief a little bit. I mean, obviously they're not animated, but props to the modder for creating something like this. You know, that it does a trick. It picks things up, it changes the texture on the ground. And so we've, this is kind of the second way of harvesting these root crops. So, alright, we put that in there. And you know what? I believe that means we are now totally done harvesting root crops. I think we just had the 3 parcels here. And I believe the only use for the sugar beet, you can't sell them. The only use is to put them into animal feed. So I'm going to put it into hogs. And let me get this parked. Actually, I don't even know that I need to... well, I need to park it, but I don't think I need the tractor. I think I'll just leave it on this little trailer. Okay. I'm going to go to... oh, I need to get another piece of equipment, I believe. And we already have one of these, and that is the conveyor belt, or whatever you... yeah, conveyor belt. I'm going to get another one of these puppy... oh, kind of an interesting amount that it charges. But I've been so impressed how it's worked on the silage down there. Let's see, where did it put it? Here, conveyor, conveyor, conveyor. Aha, over here. So, you know, I need a tractor. I don't want to take this one. This is way down here. I don't want... ah, shoot. You know what? Since this one is here and readily available, we'll see if it's strong enough to do what I need. I wanted one of the larger ones, of course. But this will suffice. Just gotta haul it out there. And we're gonna see if this works on potatoes. And I'm reasonably certain that it will. Okay, conveyor belt loading mode. So when I get out there, I gotta hit the K key to prop this puppy up. Alright. So we'll head over here, because this was the first field that we did it. And I don't remember how much is in these piles. I'll go to the furthest one away. Oh, hey, there's a tractor. I think it's sitting over there with... yeah, what I don't know is whether this tractor is strong enough to just haul the bigger trailers when they're full of a root crop. And maybe for some of you, this is old hat, you know, what's being shown here. But I gotta say, back in the day when I was playing Farm Sim 11, I don't recall ever using this particular mod. So I don't know how obscure it was, or just how wide accepted it was. Okay, now let me see. What do I gotta do again? Hit K. Alright, it's gonna raise. And okay, you know what? I guess I can drive through the piles. This probably, I would have to back it in or push it in some other way. But maybe Look at that. Oh, okay, now the particle handling on... Okay, that looks a little bit wonky. This up here, the scale is way off, but this down in here, that's bang on, except it doesn't match the color that we have in the map. But you know what? That's okay. The modder for the conveyor belt and Farmer Giat are obviously two different people. And you know, that almost looks like potatoes in there. I wonder if it's using the same texture. Don't know. But anyhow, it... Alright, so this one here says how many liters are left in it. So let me drop that down. So I kind of... can't tell. That's pretty flat. There really isn't much of a slope. Alright, let's turn this around. I'm going to go fetch a trailer. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to park this. No, you know what? I'm going to leave it attached so I have something to move this silly thing when I need it. Alright, I'm slowly trying to figure out how we're going to do this. Alright, now the problem with that is it may end up moving the... See, there's a trigger under there that picks the material up, so it may move it off, you know, by leaving it attached, may move it off the ground too far. We'll just have to see. Alright, we're going to zip down here. I'll grab a trailer. I'm going to zoom through this pile since I like seeing how much is in it. This will give us a picture. 40,000. Yeah, full pile is 40,000 liters. And now that we have something that tells us how much is in there, we won't overfill them. Of course, I think I fixed the code also to prevent the overfilling, but hey, at least we can see how much is in there now. I can't remember. Yeah, I don't think that one's set up to haul potatoes. Wish it was. Or excuse me, sugar beets. Let me give this a try. We'll fall off over there. But as I was saying, I don't recall using stuff like this back at Farm Sim 11, so I don't know how common it was, but maybe some of you, if you're used to playing these older games, maybe you'll say, hey, we use this all the time. I just don't think it was very common. Maybe that's just me, and, you know, I admit at the time, I mean, our family started playing Farm Sim 09, but we pretty quickly moved into Farm Sim 11, so, but then that was at the same time Farm Sim 15 was available, so, I almost think that is I wish I could hit pause on that. You know what? Maybe that is, maybe that is sugar beets. Oh, good grief. I could try decent. Gotta try to get, just to make it look normal, like it's landing. There we go, that's better. Yeah, for some reason that looks a little wonky going up there, but it'll work. Now, while it's filling, let me go to this other tractor. I'm kind of interested to see real time, like if I put up the help menu, it's at a decimal point. Look at it go. Yeah, so I don't remember how much here was total, but I think the trailer is going to hold 21,000 liters, so we should almost be able to get the whole pile. We got just a little left over. You know, this may not be too bad. Yeah, 21,300. Now, in real life, I know I commented on this before, at least the nation where I live, I think it's pretty common when they harvest sugar beets that they will leave piles in the field, and then they'll pick them up later. I don't know if that's more efficient for the harvest, or if they just attempt to get it all out, and then they just, yeah, they get the harvest done and over with, so you don't have to be out on the mud. And then they have a special machine, you know, to pick those up kind of at the edge of the field. And we didn't, to my knowledge, we don't have any of those machines as mods for Farm Sim 11. But we did start getting them. When was that? Was that Farm Sim 19? Maybe they were there for 17. I just don't recall. Oh yeah, I guess I got the grass getting windrowed over there. That's where another one of the tractors is. Out there picking it up. Because I believe... Oh, I better check that. Make sure my cows have sufficient food to eat. Let's see here. Liquid manure, silage, feeding trough grass, 20... Oh, 20,000. Oh, okay, that's fine. Wait a minute, pay attention here. Which one is... Oh yeah, okay, the middle one I believe is root. Oh, sorry to be jerked around. Hopefully nobody gets vertigo. But I think this is the one to put it in. Yep, it'll take it. So, whether I like it or not, I wanted to have some more hogs. At least. There's one final mission on here that in order to do it, I think it has, I've been studying the manuals, that Dosh thing, Dosh plant or whatever, and I think it has something to do with the trigger up by the church that that's down in the town. You know, I saw that trigger again, a tip trigger if you will, when I was putting in those walking people down in town. You know, all those people walking around that we never see. Oh well, it was fun to learn how to do it anyhow. But anyway, I think that trigger has something to do with creating this dosh, and we'll see what happens once we have said dosh. And I think what I need to give it is, it's kind of like preparing a breakfast. And so I need to do one more harvest, at least a little bit, and I need to grow some potatoes. I think I need some eggs, you know, so I'll need to do some chickens, and then I also need to have some pork, I believe, or some hogs. I don't think you need a lot, but you need just enough, I think, to make kind of a typical breakfast, if you will. Alright, we'll see. Everything else in this pile should fit. We'll see how much it puts in here. I seem to recall we had quite a decimal point over there. Oh, it's going to do this. Oh, blimey. Okay, so... yeah, this is why maybe it was good to leave it hooked up. Yeah, if I just drop it... there, it's almost like we're filling that thing up. We'll offload it here. Go pick up a little bit more. It says there's... oh boy, this is going to be painful. Makes me wonder if I need to look at the trigger again. There we go. It's taking it down. How do I get that last little bit? Yeesh. Maybe I need to just come at it at a different angle. Oh. Nope. Oh, this is going to be some frustration. Because I'm going to have this silly pile sitting out here. Tell you what, let me try coming the total opposite direction. I thought I'd done some trigger work on this already, you know, going kind of underground, if you will. Alright, I'm over the pile. Let me see here. You know, it's like it isn't even wanting to touch the ground, and maybe it should? Let's see, if I get out of the way. Hum, hum, hum. Let's see if I put it down. That's gonna go, no, I don't want to do that. Is there an input binding on this thing? Fluid levels normal. Now what does that do again? Fluid levels on screen. Oh, I see. Tilt arm out, work light. Up and down. Now that changed the angle of it, right? Let me see if that made any difference. Otherwise, what I think I'm going to have to do is I may need to do it. It's still not putting anything in there, is it? Yeah, I think there is a trigger that's it's somewhere in here. It's supposed to extend through the ground, so it's supposed to encompass all that. But something's telling me that it isn't quite reaching everything, because it isn't seeing the extra liters that are down there. Well, that's a little disappointing. But you know what? We can't do anything with it now, so that is something I'll need to work on, I think, off-cam. So let me just come down here, and actually I think I'll face it the other way. We'll scratch up our tractor a little bit. Oh, terrible, driving through the hedge. What's a guy to do? Come on, get turned around, Betsy. We'll try to clean up another one of these piles. Yeah, it's just yeah, that is part of the pile sitting in it. For whatever reason, it isn't reaching low enough, so I'll try to fix that here. Let me get another load, and you know, I never know in some of these videos if it's of interest to anyone. I've tried to explain some of the modding changes, you know, that I make in here, just in case anybody's interested, and in case you want to try it yourself. I don't know if anybody watching is trying this map, but if they wish to, you know, I've tried to share most of the changes that I've made. I mean, sometimes some of them are pretty mundane and dull, but I may show it's just some script changes, so it's, you know, just in a text editor on the screen. I know that isn't necessarily the most exciting thing to look at. Alright, it's taking down this pile piece, and it's probably going to do the same thing to us. Take it down to a little nubbin, and and then it won't let us pick up anything further. We are getting a decent load, and so, you know, I don't even know if we really don't have any other place to take this, so I have no choice. I either leave it in these piles, or I take it down here and turn it into pig food. So I'll take it down here just to get it off the map, but I guess what I'm saying is we may not use all of it. We'll see. Just kind of want to make sure that I try everything that this map has to offer, especially since I didn't do that the first time when I played it. So this time here, before I just put it down for good, I think I'll make sure I've tried to discover everything in here, including this heat trigger thing, which right now is showing kind of an issue. And you know, since I can drive through it, I probably could plant around it, you know, put in a new crop, but the file's just going to remain there. It isn't going anywhere. I could probably put more in it, but probably the next crop isn't going to be a root crop, so there it's going to sit, you know, when in real life it would just kind of rot. Which would be something that could be added in, you know, to force it to rot over time if it isn't picked up after a certain time period. But I don't have the energy to make those updates, especially not tonight. Kind of goes in spurts, my urge to mod or tinker with something. Oh goodness, I hit the wrong key. Come on, hop back in. There we go. Just trying to grab a little fuel while I was zipping through here. Obviously failed. So we'll get this back under the spout over here, and then I'll try to show the changes that I made in the script. And that may actually wrap up this particular episode, and then it looks like I need to take a peek at this. Take a peek at the conveyor belt and make sure. Alright, there we go. Let's hop out real quick. So in here, the stuff that I added, anytime you have a trigger, which is what you dump something into, there's going to be a tip trigger callback. So here it is in this particular script, you know, and a trigger registers, you know, when something, you know, either other ID or other shape ID, I can never figure out which, but when it enters and leaves or stays. I've never used on stay that much. Usually the things that I see most of the time is on enter and on leave. So when anything comes into the trigger, whenever something leaves, this callback tells the script to do something with that information. So if on enter, so something is coming into the trigger, i.e. a trailer, so it's going to look for a trailer, it's going to see whether the thing entering, I guess other shape ID in this case, the thing entering the trigger to see if it is a trailer. And so all of this up here was original code. You know, if the trailer exists and if it is a trailer, meaning it allows discharge or whatever, well, then it wants to add it to a couple tables so it can do something with those tables in the rest of the script. That's all it's doing. So at the same time I said, well, when it enters a trigger, let's show some information in the help menu. So I'm saying I'm just adding some variables to the particular trailer, and asking the trailer, hey, grab this particular heap. Get self, which is this whole script, this whole particular pile. Then for the trailer, then what I did is I added some code down here, and this is hooking into, it appends these particular functions, you know, player draw, vehicle draw, a trailer is a type of vehicle, a tractor is a kind of vehicle, anything you can drive or pull in game is a type of vehicle. So each vehicle has a draw function where it puts things in the help menu, so ditto with the player when you're out just walking around on your own. So I am saying append those draw functions with what I put in here. So remember, when we're up in the trigger up here, we are sending the heap information. So we're pulling it up here, grabbing the heap, we're getting the fill type, we're getting the fill level, and then we are rendering that information in the help menu through this function called add extra print text. It's a string format. It's pulling something out of the mod description folder. I won't pull that up, but I defined this in there, and all it is it's a %s:% %s, meaning two strings, a string, a colon, and a string. And so when you do string format over here, this particular function, it says do something to this. So we have %s, which is code. Hey, put a string here. So what's the first one? The first one is going to be a fill type. So you noticed in game it called it sugar beet. If it was some other commodity sitting there, it would call it whatever it was. And then the second one, also a string, is the fill level. Now the fill level is going to be a number, so I'm converting it to a string here just for ease of using it. I could have used a different code, but anyway, these are the two components that are going into what I defined, and it's going to show that on the screen. So, and that is for both player and vehicles. Up here in the code, you know, I described how it came in for trailers. You know, there's another one here. It's the other ID walking in is the player. Well, then it's going to affix these variables onto the player to do the same thing. If it's any other vehicle, it's going to do it. So sometimes you'll see it in there twice. You know, if it's both the tractor and the trailer, you know, that's sitting in the trigger, you know, it will show it twice, but most of the time just once. Well, this is on enter. When you leave the trigger, you want to do the reverse. So you want to take those trailers out of the trigger or out of the tables so they're no longer used in the script up here. And so you want to also reverse and take out all the things that I added, you know, just to show this information. Perfect timing, there's the bell. So that's just some additional things that I did in here, but I did also make one other change up here. This is, update the moving delta. This is where you dump something into the trigger, so that's the delta amount is how much is getting tipped. And this is going to update the fill plane, if you will. That's that thing that rises out of the ground that looks like a pile. So it's intended to kind of set that up and fix it, but it's also registering changes in the fill level. So you look at this here, it determines what the fill type is, and it's looking at fill level. It says take the old one, which is the current fill level plus a delta, but then it is saying, hey, if the new fill level is, it can only be a maximum of whatever's in the capacity. So if you're trying to dump in more than you're entitled to, it's going to pick only the capacity. So you only fill it to capacity, and it sets it because it's picking the minimum here. Well, then what they had was something intended that, hey, if you're trying to put more in and what will fit there, and then it will put it back in the trailer. But it was strange because this particular line is what'll do that, and it was totally commented out. I really don't know why. Like I said a little bit ago, we probably won't need it that often because I'm going to be watching, you know, make sure we don't overfill them. But now, if we do accidentally overfill, this should put everything over back into the trailer. So anywho, we are filling up another trailer in here, and so I will probably clean up the rest of these piles off cam and try to figure out what's going on with the conveyor belt and see why it doesn't pick up the rest of the pile. So probably I'll take care of it off cam, and then I'm going to have a couple little piles in various places to take care of. So thank you so much for coming along. Hope you're enjoying Feldy like I am. I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.